Good morning and welcome back to the iCare Group Australia Ipswich Jets after the 80. We're straight off the red-eye flight from Mackay. Talk all things rugby league, big win up in Mackay. Blakey's here to join us again.
Yeah.
Mate, early start.
Yeah, well, not so much for me, but mate, you topped the tackle count on the weekend. You jump off the plane and straight on after the 80. How you feeling?
Oh, mate, I know I am getting a bit old for this, I think, especially that middle position.
Yeah.
Big Tybo, he's funny, mate. We had a plan. He goes, how long do you reckon you'll get out there in the middle? I said, we'll see how we're going. Yeah. At half time, I said, if we get a good lead here, get the shower ready for me, I'm coming in.
Yeah.
Didn't happen.
No.
I looked back at the clock 3 minutes ago and I'm still out there, arse was hanging out.
For and against, mate. For and against.
No, it was a good win, mate. It was a good trip, eh?
Yeah.
Good trip in Mackay.
Yeah. It was great to see the club learning from last year. Last year we I think we went into the Sheds 18-0 down at half time, and similar thing, we travelled up on the Saturday and we played the next day, and this time a different scenario, 18 points up.
It's
talk us through the first half.
Good position to be in. It's a real rugby league town.
Yeah, absolutely.
They
plenty of players have come from Mackay.
Mate, we went down to South. Is it South?
South Sharks.
South Sharks. We went down to South.
The midi post.
Yeah.
Shout out to the midi post.
That's a good point.
What is post out there?
I actually didn't get the background check on.
So they shrunk in the microwave.
Yeah, right.
That's what I heard. So the planes. So the planes land. So it actually, it's so close to the airport.
So you're definitely within kicking distance then. They got a short the pose.
100%.
Mate, we went down there Saturday night pre-game, and I just want to put on the record, I reckon the South Sharks are over the salary cap.
You reckon?
I reckon in the A grade. I just want to go through a couple of names that we shared a beverage with on Saturday night, and we're talking local footy in Mackay. Mahe Whenua.
Yep.
Kenny Edwards.
Yep.
Ben Barber.
Yep.
Marmon Barber.
Yep.
Sam Cassiano.
He's still running around. He's playing 5'8", I think.
Sam Cassiano. Mate, there's 11.
Kenny Edwards as well.
Kenny Edwards. There's 1,100 NRL games.
Yeah.
Playing
and
for South Sharks.
When you finish wrestling, you heard it here first, guys. Moses is going to become a shark.
Yeah. So I couldn't help but laugh. I was sitting there with Triggs and we're looking around. Wasn't sure if I was in Melbourne Storm dressing room or South Sharks. So
there you go.
That was good, mate. But as you mentioned, first half, 18-0.
Yeah. Did you get the wind in the first half?
We did. We had this. Yeah. It was funny actually. I actually lost the toss, and they chose. They wanted to kick, so I got to choose which way I got to go. And I was like, I thought we're all going to be tussling for the
win,
for the choice of what way. But it was a funny wind. I think it must be a really common breeze there. Like everyone sort of was aware of it.
Yep.
Except them.
Yep.
So I don't know if they weren't asked, but no, it was a little. It didn't bother us too much, to be honest. I don't think it bothered them too much either.
Yeah. Do you have a like you've played enough footy to have an opinion on the wind? Like, do you take the wind in the first half, or do you take it on in the first half?
Nah, you take it.
Yep.
Take it first half. I mean, obviously it's open to everyone's personal opinion, but I just think, especially with the game, it's a real momentum game.
Yeah.
Rugby league, it's hard to go, all right, we're behind, and then have in the back of your head, this win will bring us home. Like, I'd rather get that momentum, and honestly, that's what we did it so well on the weekend. Is we just managed to, we managed to hold that momentum for a longer period of time than what we had done previously, and we didn't play great, to be honest. Like we had a lot of improvement in us, so, which is sometimes a really positive sign, because we're knocking over teams who are good. They're travelling well.
I think that's their first loss. They've drawn twice, which is obviously strange. You don't see. There's been a few draws to start the year, but they haven't had a loss yet. So
I mean, they were no slouches, and it was really good for the boys. And it was some big occasions too. It was quite an emotional build-up to the game. Your man come in.
Yeah, Belly.
Your man
Shout
Kane
out
Bell.
to Belly.
You know much about Kane Bell's background and his
I know a little bit.
So Belly come down, and obviously the game being Anzac Day on the weekend, he came down and gave us a few words of wisdom, and real passionate guy. I'm sure you got to experience a fair bit of that when you worked alongside him.
Yeah, no, spoken to Belly a couple of times about his background in the military. He doesn't tend to share it first thing you meet him. He keeps it to himself. He's a pretty humble fella, and probably shows how much the Jets means to Belly, the fact that he'd come in and be willing to share with the group like that. And it's a credit to him. He's honestly, the Jets is a much better place for having Belly inside it.
Mate, he was brilliant. He gave us some great insight to, I guess, preparation and the level of consequence and what it takes to solve problems for your mate and how important it is. And I thought it resembled all those things that are built around Anzac Day, and it was really good for us because it being Anzac Day, in this generation, some people probably don't understand the real meaning of Anzac Day, I think. Just it being, I just don't think it's that educated anymore. You don't get that educated a day a year, but other than that day, you don't really speak about it, if I'm being honest.
No, it's funny, one of those things, even going to the dawn services and that, it's becomes a thing where you talk to someone, probably less and less people are attending those kind of things. And I guess with time, unfortunately, sometimes traditions can get lost on us, but it is important to remember the sacrifices that our men and women made in the service for us to be lucky enough to live the lives we're living now.
Absolutely. And on the emotional weekend, Brenton Byra, 50 games. I know. Mate, he was brilliant.
Hometown.
He was brilliant.
Returns home to haunt the old squad.
I know. So he had, I didn't realise, but his old man played about 15 games for Canberra Raiders.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
There you go. It's in the blood.
He's a top line player, played NRL, 15 games, so he's a proper pedigree, BB, and mate, he showed it on the weekend. Yeah. 2 tries.
Yeah. He moves around the field well, doesn't he? Effortless, and I think he's gone to another level this year, to be fair.
I reckon he has, and I reckon we've used him as a fullback a couple of times this year, and I reckon that's probably hindered him.
Yeah.
Out of the 7 games we've played, and we've thrown him out there, I reckon 2 or 3 times in fullback, and it's not his best position, but I thought he put a huge highlighter through that on the weekend. He's a dead set centre, mate, and a genuine attacking threat.
It's funny how positions and jerseys can change a player's mindset. You might see like a ball playing back rower or a lock, and you put the 6 jersey on them, and then it's like it just changes their mindset. Now they've got to pass. They've got to. Same at potentially putting BB to fullback. His best asset is his running and being in space. And sometimes when you throw the 1 on someone like that, they start trying to think about, well, what's my passing game like this week, and thinking about others instead of just having that mindset of running the ball.
He scored his first try. He scored a brilliant try. We little play down the left hand side, and we'll have to see if we can insert the clip for you. But our Jalen de Groot ripped down the short side, and Junior Yuan, he's broken a tackle offload, and BB's come through, and the speed he showed, it's the fastest I've seen him move. He's coming down. It was just so good. He got the big wings out, the big jet plane celebration, and he's had 50 of his family and friends down in the crowd. It is one of those moments where you go, this is what rugby league's about. This is why you play. This is why rugby league is so good, because of that. You see that sort of stuff, and his old man was there, and his mum was there, and it was an emotional pre-game speech. There was plenty of tears, and his kids and wife. I was sitting there going, I better get up for this one too. I know it was getting like that, but
getting emotional in your old age.
Maybe it is. Maybe it is.
Sentimental.
Maybe it is, mate. I don't know. And what about around the grounds? You got down to Goodnar, was it?
No, I went down to North Ipswich Tigers on Friday night. The junior rugby leagues kicked off, Rugby League Ipswich. So brilliant to see all the boys and girls running around wearing their team colours. I think it was North Tigers versus Redbank was the main sort of games I saw on that Friday night. So just want to give a quick shout out to Lucas Faliga, captain, and Jonah Jones from both Redbank and North Tigers under 13s. A fantastic display. So he handed out a couple of retro Jets jerseys, and
nice.
Just out watching the talent, making sure that anyone who's showing a bit of potential is going to get an opportunity to join the Ipswich Jets Cadets Talent Development Program, which is starting in a couple months' time as well.
So you're comfortable with the pipeline of talent coming through at the moment?
Yeah, there's plenty of talent, and you see the Broncos scout at the end of the field and that, and everyone's out watching, and it's just a great environment, and probably nice round one, but massive shout out to all our volunteers in our area. You know, you see them all running around on a Friday night like that. It's terrific that, you know, a few select members of our community do so much work just so that way, you know, maybe the next Moses Mbye can pop through his local club and go on and make a living out of it and make mateship and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it was a good night to start the season for our junior rugby league.
Plenty to look forward to. And with that, tell us a little bit about the cadets. How's that come about? Like, so they go play in their local community club. Yeah.
So this year we've gone to the Queensland Rugby League has sort of empowered the Hostplus Cup or statewide competition clubs to sort of start running an academy model within their areas. So it's 13s to under 15s. So essentially what we've done as a region, because we want to grow that relationship with Rugby League Ipswich, is we've sort of given clubs, we've allocated clubs positions to nominate their aspirational players based on, you know, how many players they got. So for example, if a club has 40 players, they might get X amount of allocated spots.
Yep.
And we go out on Friday nights and watch the boys and girls play just to sort of cross-reference as well and make sure we don't feel like we're missing someone, or, you know, they might not see something that we see. And it's not, I don't think it's crucial at 13 and 14 that, you know, it's a hard and fast selection policy. I think it's about getting a bigger cohort of kids in, giving them access to the right information and the right training, and then, you know, when they're probably coming into that under 16s is when you sort of start to see those who are probably becoming a little bit more invested in their rugby league, you know, as opposed to, you know, going around and watching the under 10s. And it should all be about having fun and just enjoying yourself at that age. It shouldn't be about squads and that sort of stuff.
100%.
So, yeah.
And we fast forward, mate, we're going into a bye. How does that?
Yeah, well, you're going into a bye, but
the girls are on.
They're going into camp, rugby league camps.
I don't think I could get my head around going into a camp this week.
Yeah.
Because I know there's a little bit in store for them.
Yeah.
Dom's been working overtime behind the scenes.
Well, shout out to our BMD girls. I hope you guys enjoy your camp.
Nah, they will love it. They'll rip in.
Coming up.
Really important time for them. But
what are you doing over the bye?
Mate, we're going into a bye. I will be undecided yet. TBC.
Do some extra con
TBC.
Over the weekend?
I reckon I'm going to leave my boots in my backpack from the weekend. But we get back from our bye, we'll get ready for Capras. Capras are travelling all right as well.
Yeah. They got
a big gun. I can't remember who they played, but
I think they got a win.
They did have a win. Yeah, they got a big going on, the Capras. They got a new stadium.
I think Tweed. They beat Tweed. Yeah, 26-24 away as well.
So,
you know, big win on the road.
Yeah, and I feel like there's a little bit of, I noticed a little bit of vibe around their club at the moment. Like, you know, they got a couple of wins and they got some good personnel coming in. I know Trent Hodgkinson's up there.
If you look at teams like Capras, who they get players from Dolphins, but generally it's the younger players. So Dolphins sort of blood their younger ones through there. And you look at like a Falcons this year, no NRL affiliation, but still on top of the comp. But if you look at their rosters, they've actually had their rosters together for a few years.
Yeah.
So there's that continuity, that connection. You know, you got to go through, not tough times necessarily, but you got to sort of see things out as a club, and you can see that Capras and Falcons and that, they're getting some rewards from persisting with a core group of players.
That's the thing, it just can change so quickly.
Yeah, 100%.
We were blessed on the weekend. Like we had some high class caliber player playing for us, and that could just change really quickly. So we take that when you can. It was a massive win for us. Like, I mean, if you come back a loss like that with your tail between your legs for 2 weeks.
Especially on the back of the PNG trip. Obviously you go away on these long trips and
we've been on the road.
To get the 2 points out of it is crucial. Just because you put so much into those away trips that going away, you come back, there is that little bit of hangover from, you know, being away from your family for a few days, and you've got to come back into training. When you come away without points, it's almost like they can compound that, you know, that sort of the hangover, if that makes sense. So to get a couple of points, get you straight back on the bike. And
it's worth highlighting, I think, as a club and as staff of our team, we've actually really improved our travel.
Yeah.
Yeah, we took some lessons out of previous experiences, and we the last 2 trips have been near on perfect. Like PNG into Mackay, PNG, we just missed the boat. Like that happens sometimes, but around our preparation was just perfect. And then we carried that into Mackay, and I thought we nailed it, and I thought it showed.
I think I was involved with last year a couple of those trips, and it's kind of trying to find that balance between doing too much, but then also not doing
less is
occupying
more.
minds. It's you got to find that balance. If you do nothing, sometimes everyone goes stir crazy, and you kind of sometimes you can come out a little disconnected. But
see, I'm the opposite.
Try to fill everything, every gap.
I feel that you need to replicate the natural environment for the players. Like if, they don't often, like if they're playing at home games, they're not doing these, filling up their schedule. So I thought our staff took some really good feedback from the group, and they nailed it. So it's a big rap for our staff, and we're gonna have to do that again next week on the Capras, and then we've had some away trips this year.
Is that to Capras going to be opening up their new ground?
I think this is their first. I think this is their first. There's a a curtain raise before us, and then us.
Yeah,
I think that's so a bit of buzz would be
for
good.
The lads to play on a brand new design stadium.
So after Capra's game, we'll come back to you and give you a little bit of a review on the new facility they've got there up there at the Capras. But that's it this week for the Eye Care Group Australia Ipswich Jets after the 80. Proudly brought to you by the Jets Leagues Club, the #1 supporter of rugby league in your community.